Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, is LeBron James on the verge of passing Michael Jordan as the GOAT? Plus, Caron Butler joins the show to assess Lonzo Ball's rookie season. And is Odell Beckham Jr. on his way out of New York? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. LeBron and the Cavs bounced back from Tuesday's loss with an easy win on the road against the Hornets. LeBron had another huge night with 41 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. He also tied Michael Jordan's record for the most consecutive games scoring in double figures, and he did it against the team MJ owns. Let's take a listen to LeBron on tying Jordan's record.
I can't even tell you how I've been able to do it. It's not like I go into every game saying, okay, we got to get 10 points this game. It just kind of organically happens. And anytime I mention with some of the greats, and obviously one of the, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, and Mike, it's just another feat for me to be just appreciative and humbled by, you know, what I've been able to do, and you know, just knowing where I come from, and knowing, you know, so I look at it like, wow, I can't believe I'm even at this position, you know, just from where I come from.
We're joined by former NBA All-Star Caron Butler. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
By the way, the other night on Players Only, you were doing a pregame interview, and I can't remember who it was, leaned over, I think it was Melo, and said, man, you smell good.
Oh, D-Wade.
It was D-Wade.
Yeah. I told him the fragrance don't smell the same on everybody, man. You know what I mean?
I'd never heard that before, but I was
It don't
impressed.
do it? No.
Huh?
Yeah. I don't work alone.
No?
Nah, I ain't worked alone in 30 years.
All right.
Damn, so, you know,
30 years?
Good myself without
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Caron, is LeBron making a case that he's better than Jordan?
Making a case, you know what? The conversation is extremely slim when you look at Michael Jordan, Kareem, Kobe Bryant. You look at that rare era of just game-changing guys, and you look at LeBron and what he's able to do in year 15. You know, you think that has some type of form of vibranium or something.
That's what
you know what I'm saying?
Vibranium. I've been trying to tell you, Skip.
Well, are they going to start testing for vibranium? Or I want to know.
It's bound to be where you from.
It was
Really?
only one more plant in the movie, and I think he found it.
Oh, that's right. He destroyed everything but one.
Destroyed, and he's the only one left with it. But like seriously, he's playing at an all-time level in year 15, and what he's able to do and what he's been able to do, and he shows no signs of slowing down. So his body of work, his complete body of work, is going to be, you know, it's going to have to have a real discussion on where he lies in one of the greatest players ever to play the game of basketball.
Did you really just say that?
It's going to be a real discussion. So basically, this is how I'm looking at it. If you look at this Cavs team and the way it's assembled, you take Jordan Clarkson, you take Larry Nance Jr. off the Lakers. You know, no real haul over right there. 6 to 7 in rotation on non-contender team with the Los Angeles Lakers. You bring them over to the Cavs. If he's able to pull this off and take this team to the finals and possibly win it, I mean, we're having a different discussion here.
Okay, but if Kyrie's out and Steph's out, would you be that impressed?
I would not be that impressed, but I'm still impressed to the fact that who's the number 2 guy? Who's the next playmaker? Kevin Love, pick and pop guy. Not running a ton of things through him. He's playing off the playmaking skills of LeBron James. And think about it, from a point standpoint, he's going to have to average 35 to 40 points a game in the playoff series. He's going to have to rebound the ball at an amazing clip, 7 to 12. And he's going to have to facilitate, meaning that he's going to have to average at least 8 to 12 assists a game. This is going to be his best moment if he's able to pull this off.
Okay, so if he pulls it off, he would be 4-5 in NBA Finals. That would do it? That would put him over the top against the guy who's 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals?
The logo has how many titles?
Jerry West?
Yes.
What, 1?
Been to the finals how many times?
I think he's 1-8.
And he's
Well,
the logo.
I don't know why he's the logo, but that's a whole nother issue.
But I'm just saying, you're going to have to look at LeBron's complete body of work. His credentials going to be pretty much second to none.
Yeah, because I believe he will end his career as the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. I believe he'll end his career in the top 5 in assists. There's an outside chance he could end up top 10 in rebounding. So now, the 7 straight finals, basically that's 2 extra seasons. What he's played. He's playing the most minutes now. And he's tied his career high in rebounding, at a career high in assists, and he's 5/10 over what his career average is in scoring. And that's in year 15. Skip, when you do the totality of it, see, everybody just wants to say, well, Michael Jordan won 6 finals and that's it. Well, Bill Russell is 11-1. And Bill Russell is never mentioned as the greatest. So if you're just going to do championships, Bill Russell's got to be the guy. But you don't do that. You do the totality of it. You look at all NBAs, you look at MVPs, you look at final MVPs, you look at assists, you look at rebounds. And when you look at all of this, I don't know how you just like, man, please, that's crazy. It's like you look at him like he's an afterthought. He's more than that. He's close. The only difference is Michael Jordan's semen is dry. He can't add another rebound or assist or anything. Because here's the thing, Skip. In his first 3 years, Michael Jordan did not win a playoff series. The last 2 years of his career, he didn't make a playoff. So we got to factor that in there because all you want to do is just factor in those 6 years in which you won the title. Michael Jordan played, what, 16 years? So we got to...
15.
Okay, 15. So the totality
he
of
was
it.
forced to miss 2 seasons in his prime, and then he was forced out early after age 35 season. He took 3 seasons off because Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf wanted to blow up the Phil Jackson dynasty.
He could have came back. They'd have loved to have him back. If he's what you said he is,
Yeah,
he should have been able to. He should have been able to bring them home.
He's got pride and principle, and he said, if you fire my coach, I'm out of here. And he was out of there. And he stayed out for 3 years in age 36, 37, and 38 seasons and came back for 39 and 40 in Washington, which was a pretty sad end to the all-time greatest career. But you can't take that away. You can't hold that against him
Well,
what
he
he
played
did in Washington.
Well, you hold against LeBron. You said he needed. They floated his owner said he quit. You hold that against Bron. In 2011, you hold that against him.
Did anybody ever accuse Michael Jeffrey Jordan of quitting in a playoff series?
Always showed up.
Huh?
Always showed up.
So how much credit? So what do we hold against him without Phil Jackson? So what is Doug Collins and Stan Albert? What do they get credit for?
I don't know. He was just a baby coming along against the toughest, well,
Nah,
the
he's a
Eastern
baby
Conference. Well, okay, but wait a second. It took LeBron 9 years to win his first championship. It took Jordan 7. Okay, so it took 7. It's hard, man. You got to fight your way up the ladder.
Yeah.
But that was the Eastern Beastern Conference. In those days, that was the conference in the East.
We overvalue. See, the thing is that we equate physicality with good play. Those Knicks teams were physical. Those Pacers teams were physical.
Okay, but
they got one Hall of Famer each.
Okay, but the Pistons were physical and really skilled.
And when they got old, he took them down.
Larry Bird's team was physical and really.
And he never touched them when they were prime.
I still have Kareem, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, still a scale ahead of LeBron. But I still feel like with so much time left for him and showing no signs of declining, his body of work is going to be just unprecedented.
Well, his body is unprecedented in season 15. We've never seen anything like this. I'll give you that.
He's literally pulling up to 24-hour fitness and saying, look, I need 7.
Okay.
What he doing?
Where we headed? To the NBA Finals.
Well, all right. So, weren't you on that Maverick team in 2011,
Yes.
as I recall? I don't think you played a whole lot down the stretch, but didn't you sit and watch what happened to LeBron James, that you're making a case could be the greatest player ever? What happened in that 2011 finals?
I will have to say what I seen, and here's the difference. It was a chemistry issue where who was going to be Batman and who was going to be Robin. And in the moments of the game, as you know, every possession matters. And LeBron was trying to facilitate, and Dwayne was trying to pass the torch to him. And once that summer came in 2011, it was like, look, you're not stepping on my toes by being a better version of yourself. And Dwayne said, look, you're the guy. You're the best player on the planet. And when that happened, you saw a different LeBron James going forward.
Okay,
Until this
what
day, you
I
still
saw
see
in
that.
games 4, 5, and 6 was the greatest superstar meltdown I have ever witnessed. And it was hard to watch because it was pretty pathetic. Because LeBron just shrank under the spotlight.
He told you why?
With the torch. He handed him the torch, and LeBron's like,
No, LeBron was trying to facilitate. LeBron didn't want to be. LeBron was like, D-Wade is your team. I don't want to, I just came here. I'm going to let you do you. But when D-Wade said, hey, he said, okay.
I saw the chosen one turn into the frozen one.
It's
for
like the
3
good-looking girl
games.
going to the new school, Joy. You know, she got friends, and you know, she meet friends. She knows she look good, but she gonna hang out with some friends like, I don't want to step on any toes because I know they gonna hate me.
Did you ever see Michael Jordan melt down in any playoff series ever? Ever? Did he just melted down and shrank and froze up? You ever see that? Because I didn't, and I watched them all.
That team was always built around the greatness of Michael Jordan. What LeBron did was when he left Cleveland, he went and joined another Batman. Dwayne Wade wasn't a Robin. He was a Batman. He was the first of that 2003
But
class
I thought
to win a
Dwayne
championship.
made it clear from the start.
No, he didn't.
You're going to be Batman.
No, it was. I felt like when they did the concert, when they all reunited together and made that big splash in free agency, it was like, look, we're all alpha males. Look, this gonna be our team. It wasn't really no real like who's the number one guy.
You mean not 5, not 6?
Yeah,
not 7.
they did all the press conferences together.
Right.
They did everything together. First it was 3, then it ended up being 2. Then obviously at the end of the day it was LeBron doing his thing, and he was anointed as the guy on that team.
Okay, so as great as LeBron is in your eyes, in 2014, his team, in which he was the Batman on, got blown off the court by a record finals margin by the San Antonio Spurs, who weren't that great, but it was just a 5-game series in which they got annihilated.
Did LeBron
and is he
melt
the
down?
best player on the planet?
He averaged-
I don't know.
Skip.
I don't know. Did that ever happen to Michael Jordan?
Skip,
I
he
don't
averaged
think so.
28, 7, and 5. I mean, 28. He averaged 28 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists.
Go back and look at game 3 and 4. Go watch the tape and tell me what you see, because I watched it closely because I was all over it, and LeBron just disengaged. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't see LeBron James.
Think about this, Skip. LeBron lost. We're going to see. Because you're going to see how Kevin Durant's about to find out how difficult it is to navigate these playoffs when your best players are hurt. Because that's what LeBron. That's what LeBron had to do with D Wade. The last couple of years, LeBron was showing up at the stadium and D Wade is out. D Wade was getting treatment all doing, and his knees was not holding up in the finals. So we're about to see what Kevin Durant's going to have to navigate. What he's going to have to do what LeBron did.
Okay, but nobody said Kevin Durant is the all-time greatest player, and you're saying LeBron is the all-time greatest
He will
player.
be. He close right now.
The only way you can make the case is on pure longevity, like overall longevity achievement.
That's what I'm talking about, his complete body of work.
Skip, you make it seem like the dude averaging 14 points. He's just playing averaging 14. The dude in year 15 averaging 27.
I just said I've never seen anything like it.
8 and 9.1.
Okay. All right, way to
Game
go.
is actually excelling.
And,
Yeah!
and,
amazing.
and he terrorizes Michael Jordan's team in
Everybody.
Charlotte, the team that he owns and operates, as if that somehow makes him better than Michael Jordan, the player. I don't really get
Did you
that.
not see him drop 57 on the Wizards? Or that 37, 10, and 15 against the Timberwolves?
Yep.
Did you see the 38-8 performance against the Thunder?
I've watched him hide in the Eastern Conference for all these 15 years. That's what I've watched.
Well,
Yeah. Go try the West on for size.
Hold on. You were, I know you
You
were
guys are
young.
coming to LA next year, right?
Karan, I know you were young, but the West was the East, was Magic was in it. But nobody said Magic played in the least West. Nobody said that, did it, Skip?
No.
Because was the Supersonics some good? Were the Nuggets any good, Skip? What about Sacramento?
Oh, but we're talking
Dallas Mavericks.
I know, but we're talking about Jordan versus LeBron.
He was in the East.
East when it was the Beast.
No mercy. Next up, Michael Jordan was ranked as the most influential NBA player of all time by ESPN. LeBron James came in second on the list. The list analyzes not only the players' work on the court, but also off the court, including how they affected the overall culture of basketball. Shannon? Do you agree that Jordan should be number one?
Oh, yes, you do.
No, I don't.
What are you talking about?
No, Skip. And look, these are very tough, Skip, because when you debate someone, it's almost like, as Rob Parker say, you're poo-pooing the other guy's accomplishments. And that's not what I'm doing, because I realize I've had just about every pair of Jordan that's ever come out. So I know what he's meant. I know how he brought the fandom to the game of basketball. So I don't try to minimize, and I wouldn't ever minimize. I know we debate back and forth with LeBron and Michael, but I have the utmost respect for him as a person and what he was able to accomplish. But as an influence, it's 2-3 from Akron. Because you look at, Skip, I get it. Michael was really the first guy that had the brand. Everybody wanted, but well, he wasn't the first guy because long before that they had the Golden Bear and the King. But let's just say, for this argument, the NBA. The Jordan sneaker, and that's what everybody goes to, is that the Jordan sneaker. And it's been a game changer because normally when guys played, once they hung up their uniform, they stopped making the shoes for them. Michael Jordan has sold more shoes since he's been in retirement than he did while he played, Skip. And most of the people that wear his shoes never saw the man actually dribble a basketball. They see YouTube and highlight clips. Okay, I give you that. But what LeBron has a shoe also. I believe when he's done, they'll continue to make the LeBron. Okay, boom. Michael was able to take, from the court and go to a businessman, be a CEO, be a button-up Fortune 500. LeBron James has done that also. But where I give LeBron the nod is these social issues. These issues that Michael Jordan would never, ever touch. Remember, Skip, his famous quote. Some quotes live in perpetuity. This one will. When they asked him about Jesse Helms in North Carolina, he uttered the phrase, Skip, what did he say, Skip? Republicans buy sneakers also.
He did.
LeBron James has never shied away from these issues. It was LeBron with the hoodies and the Miami Heat for the Trayvon Martin. It was he that wore the T-shirt, Eric Garner, I can't breathe. Skip, he did something that no other player could do. He took the power from the owners. He made it okay because he's like, oh, Michael would have never done that. Larry and Magic would have never done that. He said, that's their legacy. I'm going to shape my legacy. Before that, teams determined how good you were going to be because they moved you as they saw fit. Now you see LeBron say, nah, hey, Bosh, let's go down to Miami and team up with D-Wade. You see Kevin Durant says, hey, I'm going over here to Golden State. Paul George says, I'm done in Indy. You see Carmelo, y'all don't want to do right. Hey, get Jimmy Butler. So he's giving the power to the players. Michael Jordan never did that, Skip. This is not a knock on Mike. But as far as influence, when you take what LeBron has done off the field, his foundation, and even Michael had foundation, and Michael did a lot of things behind the scenes. But behind the scenes lets me know that you're fighting one thing, but you don't want the people to know that you're fighting against, that you're actually fighting them. LeBron said, no, I'm going to speak out for equality. I'm going to speak up against social injustice. I'm going to do better. I understand I make $90 million, but I see what's going on, and I'm not exempt from these problems. So with that being the issue, LeBron James is more Muhammad Ali in totality than Michael Jordan.
So, now that you brought up Ali, I'll give you your last point. Obviously, Michael Jordan avoided any sort of political or social or racial comment. He just avoided it, and I would talk to him occasionally off the record about it. He'd say, I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I just don't do that. But he also was protecting what became known as the Jordan brand.
Correct.
But help me out here.
Yes.
Has LeBron James been more courageously outspoken and impactful than in his day Ali was, or Bill Russell was, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was, or Jim Brown was in their day, back in the 60s?
Well, because, Skip, you got to understand, back then it was the Jim Crow, and so things were a lot different then than they are now. But because then the athletes weren't making the kind of money. And you hear a lot of guys like they don't want to touch the bottom line, which is that dollar in their back pocket. So you have to be very mindful of what you're speaking out against.
Yep.
But LeBron James has said, you know what? I might sell a few thousand less sneakers, but I cannot turn a blind eye. Because I live up in this ivory tower and I see what's going on, it is my duty, it is my obligation to speak out against it. Not only because he realized, Skip, he's an influencer. There's a reason why Nike gave him all this money. There's a reason why these companies give him money, because he can influence people to buy their product. Well, if he can influence people to buy their products, can he influence people to direct change? So he's going to be one of those figures. He will be thought of as the guys you just mentioned, the Russells, the Alis, the Jabbars. That's how he's going to be remembered.
Do you think LeBron ever felt threatened that he would lose any endorsement over being publicly outspoken about a racial issue?
I'm sure he has. I'm sure that's gone.
I don't think he's lost any. I don't know. I'm not aware of any. No?
I'm sure. Well, he lost something because last year during the NBA Finals, there was something written on his door. and he's made it
Okay,
abundant.
well, that's fine, but that didn't
But-
mean, but that made him even more of a sympathetic figure to me.
When you're in that situation, and what he said is that even no matter how high you go, there'll always be some that try to remind you who you are and what you are. So they're always, like he used the term, try to put you in your place or the
No,
place that
I
they
get
see
it,
fit.
But to me, it's a little easier for LeBron now because the black community has a voice in social media it never had before. Am I right?
Yeah, but there are a lot.
You feel empowered because you can band together on social media and you can have serious, real impact.
A lot of
and
peop-
LeBron knows that. He's preaching to a big choir now on social media.
Yeah, I understand that, Skip. But also the other side has social media also, and they'll band together because we've seen them band together.
Well, but still, you at least have it's more of a fair fight now on social media.
And I think because of social media, this is why you have to give him an influence because of social
Okay,
media.
all right, I will, and I do. But I want to remind everyone that Michael Jordan didn't just start the worldwide sneaker industry, he detonated it. He revolutionized it from the start. He joined this little company called Nike that nobody really knew anything about because up to that point, and I lived through this era, it was Chuck Taylor All-Stars
Converse.
by Converse, and maybe Bird and Magic took
The
that up
weapons.
one notch, just one notch,
Yep.
but not more than about a notch. And Adidas had the Superstars that I loved, and you remember Run DMC
Yep.
were Superstars, but that was it.
That was it.
Period, end of story. And all of a sudden, something happened to the sport of basketball, to the game of the National Basketball Association that had never happened before. Casual fans started watching because you thought Jordan might do something each night you'd never seen before because people started to think he could actually fly.
They did.
Right?
They did.
And it was Tiger before Tiger because Tiger brought in non-golf fans to golf. People didn't even know what the rules of golf were, but they're watching Tiger because it's a thunderstorm waiting to happen.
Correct.
And it was the same with Jordan back in 84, 85, 86. He's bringing in casual fans to basketball who didn't even care about basketball. They just wanted to see Jordan do something that looked like superhero.
The thing was, Skip, I believe it was the colorway of the shoe. Because prior to that, the shoe was just white. I believe
Or black.
But-
There's black
right.
Converse All-Stars.
If that shoe had not had that colorway,
Yeah.
and it generated such a buzz that
Yeah.
the NBA says, we're going to fine you $5,000 every time you wear that shoe, and Nike says, continue to wear that shoe, we'll pay that fine.
That's true.
That exploded it, Skip. If that, I believe, it's hard for me to believe if that was just a white sneaker,
Yeah.
that it would have ever had the impact.
Totally agree.
But when you did this colorway,
Okay? But Michael Jordan, off the court, started to become a businessman who could go toe-to-toe with anybody on Wall Street.
Yes.
We'd never seen that. This is a black man who's saying, I'm you. I can beat all you off the court as well as I can beat you on the court. Where he is dressing for success. He was the first athlete I ever covered who dressed to the nines for every post-game interview.
Yes.
Because he wanted to project an image, Jordan Brand.
Yep.
This is Jordan Brand, that I am special here.
Yep.
I'm taking this very seriously. I'm going to look and act the part even after the games. And then, even though before him, Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson had prominent supporting roles in movies,
Yes.
here came Space Jam in 1996 in the middle of Michael's career, and he is the star of the movie and carried it.
Yep.
Well, that had never happened. So he is blazing trails, and now LeBron, to me, is just walking in those footsteps. And he's walking great in those footsteps.
and Michael had the video with Michael Jackson. But here's the thing, Skip. For LeBron, okay, he came into the league and he had agencies and all these agents. He fired everybody. He empowered his boys. He gave them platforms.
I'll give you that.
So now those tentacles that, they call him an octopus because he has 8 arms and they just reach out and they touch a lot of different things, Skip.
Yep.
So now, if Bird and Magic was one, because they changed the NBA. The NBA would have never been, if Bird and Magic, they came along at the right time. Because Skip, it was a fight just about every other night. And everything, they used to tape delay the finals.
They did.
Think about that. They
I was
taped
there.
delayed.
I watched them.
So
I know.
Exactly.
Yep.
So Michael has done an unbelievable job, Skip. But it's hard when you factor in that social aspect and the stance that LeBron will take on issues. Skip, he was the first one like, that guy getting the White House, ain't nobody going. I don't know who's going. I'm not going. To speak what guy we know, what athlete we know have taken such a public role of speaking out, empowering other athletes? Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, so many other guys are speaking out.
But just remember what they're up against in the 60s.
Yeah.
Remember the Summit, the Ali Summit?
Yes, absolutely.
Kareem and Jim Brown and Bill Russell.
Yeah.
And they're putting their
Yeah.
they're almost like putting their lives on
Yes,
the line to
yes,
take this stand
yes.
against for a conscientious objector.
It was a different time then, Skip. Things were. It was openly. I think now it's a little more subtle, but we still see it. People say certain things about the young man that got shot in Sacramento, and we hear the press secretary says that's a local issue. But anyway, with that withstanding, Skip, now as you mentioned, social media.
Yep.
Those 36 million followers that he has on Instagram, and I think he has 50+ million on Twitter.
I got it.
That's a lot of reach.
Last quick point. You made this a positive for LeBron, but as an old schooler, I'm a negative on this because I don't believe Michael Jordan ever would have left the Chicago Bulls to join forces with other superstars. And you're saying it set a new tone, it broke new ground. Well, Jordan would say that was blasphemous ground. Like you just don't need to do. If you're that guy, you stay put and win championships.
Yeah, but you stay put, and then you're at the mercy of the team because they can move you when they wanted to. LeBron gave the power back to the players. Now you get these max deals, and they say, this is what they can say, we want this, and they go get it.
Well, you can, but to Jordan, you're selling out. That's why he won't give LeBron any credit.
Okay, but don't worry about it. We're going to get it.
Okay.
We'll get it.
Well, you can get all the
We're
stats.
going to get it.
You can get all the
No, we're
stats
going to
you
get it,
want.
Skip.
Was a good 4 years.
No mercy.
Lonzo Ball and the Lakers beat the Mavericks last night. Lonzo finished with 8 points and 5 assists, but had to leave the game with a knee contusion after getting hit by a Mavs player. He'll have an MRI, but said after the game he should be back soon. This season, Lonzo is averaging 10 points, 7 assists, and nearly 7 rebounds per game. We're joined once again by Karan Butler. Karan, how impressed are you so far with Lonzo?
I'm extremely impressed. You know, looking at his feel of the game of basketball, the way that he facilitates, his IQ is extremely high. One of the things that I question is his availability and being able to being durable throughout a marathon of an NBA season. And that's been extremely questionable. But hopefully he's able to come back. I think they have, 7, 8 games left. So, you know, hopefully he comes back and understand the importance of having him out there, possibly Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram back in the lineup, Kuzma playing great basketball. And just continue to give the fans a flash of what's yet to come. And you got salary cap, so you're able to, possibly add 2 major guys this offseason. So future bright for him.
He's just been too inconsistent for me. Of the 165 players that's taken at least 500 shots this year, Lonzo is dead last in field goal percentage. And you look at some of the other rookies, the Donovan Mitchells, the Jason Tatums, the Markins, Josh Jackson, Kuzma, they've outplayed him. It's as simple as that. Now, we can make it a lot, all the pressure, and his dad heaped a lot of pressure on him, but they've outplayed him. They've been available, as you mentioned, they've been available more. And when they have been available, they've been more consistent. Now, we've seen him show flashes. The 29, 11, and 9. We see another game, we have a couple of triple-doubles. But far too many times, we see 1 for 12 from 3. We see 1 from 9 from 3. We'll see 1 for 4 from the free throw line. That won't get them to where they need to be. And as you mentioned, this knee thing, Skip, early. And I don't like to see young players have knee problems because young players turn into old players with knee problems.
Okay, but this wasn't the classic knee. He got kneed in the back of the leg, so this is just a
bruise?
contusion.
Okay.
But the knee thing that you're talking about that kept him out way longer than I thought it would,
Right.
I agree with that one. Because it was just a sore knee. There was no structural damage that we're aware of.
Right.
So now you're back. The roller coaster rolls. So he had a bad game last night, so he's a bust, right?
No, see, that's what he tried. See,
He's a bust.
See,
It's
Skip,
okay.
Skip will not allow you
okay.
to have any room between transcendental and bust. Now, that's a big gap. And I'm trying to fit somewhere in there, and Skip was like, nope, you got to be on the top shelf or you got to be on the bottom
Well,
shelf.
I think you just described a bust to me.
He's far from a bust. And you look at that crop of talent. You look at Donovan Mitchell. You look at Ben Simmons. You look at all those guys. He's unique because he does everything. You know, he has a great feel of the game of basketball. He's a facilitator. He's not a scorer. Donovan Mitchell is a scorer.
Is he?
He's amongst other things, but he's a scorer. Jason Tatum, scorer, versatile. He's a guy you go through. He's a guy that keeps everything together, continues to get everybody involved, from Brandon Ingram to Kuzma. He understands how to distribute and have that balance, and he's a winner. He brings that, whatever it is, he brings it to that locker room and to that team.
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a monster.
Monster. So, as usual,
a
I'm
goat.
gonna be actually objective over here about Lonzo Ball, and I'm gonna start with last night before I go bigger picture. I was extremely disappointed in Lonzo Ball last night before he got hurt, because once again, he's going to take another year off my life. I don't know what happens from night to night, but some nights he's engaged and really wants to play, and some nights he's just not engaged. And last night he was disconnected, and I don't know why. It was clear from the start. Dennis Smith Jr. said, "You are now in my house, and I'm going to outplay you. Watch this." And Dennis Smith was attacking right away, and Lonzo was passive. I'm going to just drift through this game. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to be aggressive. I'm not going to initiate the offense. I'm just going to flip it over to the wing and go stand over in the corner. I just can't stand to watch that because it's just wrong.
Right.
He's better than that, because certain nights, as we talked to Jason, we had Jason Terry in, and he sat on the bench in Milwaukee that night earlier this year when Lonzo Ball walked in and said, "Hey, Jason Kidd," he's then the coach, obviously, "Jason Kidd, watch what I'm going to do." And he just terrorized that team with a big triple-double. Remember, he had like 13 and 14 on rebounds and assists, just like, what was it, 19, 13, and 14, something like that. So the point is, last night, I couldn't even recognize him after he'd had a good night at Detroit in a game they lost, shooting mid-range jump shots.
Right.
Like that was a new weapon in the repertoire. Oh, you can do that. And they look good. They look like he shot them with conviction, like he knew what he was doing, and he shot them more from here instead of over there. And then last night, he did make his first three, but then he just drifted through the rest of the game. The numbers are pathetic, but they did win. So he would tell you after the game, all I care about is the dub. You know, like I don't care about scoring. I don't care about it. My stats, I care about whether we win or lose. And I value that in him, because I think he would be fun to play with, because he doesn't need the basketball like a lot of young players just need the basketball.
He actually mean that, too.
Yeah, he means it.
You know,
No, I agree. So let's look at the big picture, as Joyce said, 10, 7, and 7 for the year. He's 8th in the league in assists. That'll work. He's 12th in steals. That's pretty good. In defensive win shares, that's your individual defense that you play, he's 26th in the league. That'll work, because he disrupts. He leads this team in steals because he will disrupt and get his hand on the basketball. So LeBron James now is 332. I have to check every day for you.
Drop down 12 spots.
LeBron is 332 in defensive win shares, 332nd. Alonzo is 26th. That's quite a discrepancy there.
If LeBron James was on the Lakers, would their record be better or worse?
Well, he's in his 15th season.
Yeah, so you expect
better.
him to play defense. Well, we'll see with LeBron when Lonzo's 15. We'll see where his defense.
Well, obviously, LeBron has completely sacrificed defense for the sake of stat building on offense, and I'm fine with that, because that's the only way you're going to make your case that you're better than Jordan.
Let me ask you a question. LeBron can't sit in the chair for 37 minutes a night and give you the.
He could.
No, he can't.
Well,
no,
why
he
not?
can't, because you can't exert that kind of energy on both ends of the court.
I thought
Nobody
he was the
can.
best player on the planet.
He is.
Hey, trust me, in Michael Jordan's 15th season, well, it was actually his 13th season, the last one in Chicago.
Yes.
He played hellacious defense. Like they just suffocated
Dennis
you. at
Rodman was
half-court.
averaging 18 rebounds a game.
15th season, LeBron has to open the gym, sweep the floor, get the rebound,
Bring the balls out.
facilitate,
Yeah.
bring
I'll
be
give
the
you
best
everything except
playmaker,
sweep the floor. I'm
everything.
not sure he's going to
You
sweep.
got to do everything.
He's doing
man.
everything, Skip. And stop trying to do that. Stop trying to minimize LeBron and what he's doing.
He just doesn't play any defense, but that's okay. So you give me these stats about how poor a shooter Lonzo is, but for a 16-game stretch, which is a pretty big sample size, he was the hottest three-point shooter in the entire league. Number one over a 16-game stretch. How do you figure that? He was 56% from three. Well, it worked for a while, right?
But here's the thing, though, Skip.
Yeah.
Even though you give him that 56%,
Yep.
he's still only 30% from the three-point,
I
even
got
when
it.
you give him 56%. So he's 36 from the field, 30% from the free throw, three-point line, and 45% from the free throw. And you want me to give him a B+.
Okay, and now I'll throw one last one at you. In rebounding, He is a special rebounder now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's 6'7". Among point guards, he's third in the NBA in rebounds behind Russell, and I'm giving you Ben Simmons as a point guard at 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Simmons is going to get a bunch of rebounds. He just stands under the goal, gets rebounds.
He's 7 foot tall. He be working hard to get them bounds.
But he's 7 feet tall. So if we eliminate Ben Simmons, just disqualify him on 7 feet.
No, he's a point guard.
Yeah,
Can't
he's
do
a
that.
point guard. Yeah, okay. So Lonzo's, he's right there with Russ. And trust me, someday Lonzo Ball will average a triple-double for an entire season because he just got all the skills. And he will be able to average 15 points a game. He's 20 years old right now. This is rookie year. He'll average 15 points, and he'll be able to average 12 assists and 10 rebounds. He'll have 1 year where he'll do that for the whole year.
It's possible.
He's going to keep Drew Randall on the team because right now Drew Randall playing out of his mind.
He is. But he's a monster. But we said, Luke Walton said he was a monster in the preseason.
What about Kyle Kuzma?
He comes in and just jacks
One of the
it, man.
biggest steals.
Yeah.
Woo!
I do.
Right
I wish I could pour some of Kyle Kuzma into Lonzo just to
See,
watch it.
you see what you're trying to
percolate.
do? You keep trying to add. He is what he is, Skip. You keep trying to add bits and pieces of everybody else to your guy.
I do
Either
that.
you got it or you.
Yeah.
Grunt. Either
Hey.
you gonna do it or you don't.
Yeah.
I do think he has it, though.
Yeah. The first game I see Kyle Kuzma play, a lick of defense will be the first game I see.
What is this? So all of a sudden now you care about defense now. Now you care about
Do you
defense.
realize Jordan hung his hat on the defensive end? They lived for it. That's what they took the most pride in. In '98, when they just dominated.
Well, he ain't take no pride when Kobe dropped 55 on him.
Oh, please.
He took pride in that?
He's comparing everyone to Jordan.
Yeah.
That's the
when he was
standard.
in Washington?
Yeah, dropped 55 on him.
Please, he was 39 years old.
Was he not Michael Jordan?
Oh, please.
So let me get you. So once he got to like
Stop.
36, he morphed into someone else?
They didn't have vibranium in those.
Hey,
Yeah,
That's what it was.
We didn't know about it.
LeBron gonna drop 55.
You're not getting back in that Jordan party.
Yeah, man. All that money I spent on the
Watch. Like the week before All-Star break next year,
You'll start kissing.
flipping it.
I need my
Jordan,
package.
you know, Michael Jordan, he was the
But
greatest
hey,
player.
hold on. But here's the thing,
Yeah.
Skip. I mean, Michael loves honesty, right? Okay, I'm being honest.
He's cold-blooded on
He's
it.
still the GOAT.
Still
Say
the
it.
GOAT. Say it.
Say
He's
it.
the GOAT.
Bron.
Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
No mercy.
Adam Schefter reports the Giants want at least 2 first-round picks for Odell Beckham Jr. Despite that, Giants co-owner John Mara said Odell is not on the trading block, and the Giants GM said, quote, "You don't quit on talent." The New York Daily News also reported that Odell spoke to 2 Rams players and told them he wants to go to LA. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How's this going to play out between Odell and the Giants?
You know what? I mean, it's so funny. He's not for trade, but we want two first round, right? like, hey, we're not trying to actively trade him, but let's throw this out here and see if we get any takers. And I don't believe anybody's going to give 2 first rounders for Odell, but he's certainly out there. There's certainly I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. So people are listening. Like the Giants are listening, and I look at it from Dave Gettleman. What I know of Dave Gettleman as a general manager, he is a guy that has always been an inside-out guy. I want to build my lines of scrimmage. That's how you win football in this day and age. Remember, he let go of arguably one of the best corners in football in Carolina and said, you know what? We really need to focus on the interior of our defense. We need to focus on the front 7 of our defense. And when you look at the New York Giants, and I called one of their games late in the season, bereft of talent at multiple positions. Offensive line's an issue. Running back is an issue. You know, secondary wide receiver is an issue. Linebacking core is an issue. Defensive line and pass rusher right now, because they got rid of a couple of them, JPP being one of them, is an issue. So this team is in full rebuilding mode, and if you can get value for a guy who, frankly, let's face it, man, one of the most talented guys that we've ever seen come into this league, if you can get great value for him, and you've got that many holes to fill, and you're only winning under 50% of your games with him playing, why would you not make that move to bolster your roster? And so that's what I think they're going to do. I think eventually you're going to see him out of New York Giants uniform and into somebody else's.
I agree with you. I didn't believe that the Giants weren't shopping him. They are. So whatever the team tells you they're not doing, they're probably doing the opposite of what they're telling you.
Right.
I think Odell understands that. I just think that John Mara kind of laid it out that he was tired of talking about Odell and Odell not playing football. He's tired. When I talk about Odell playing football, I'm talking about his behavior. Why can't I just talk about what an outstanding game that he had and we won the game? Why can't it just be that? Well, for whatever reason, it's never been just that.
Yep.
And I fought the Giants to some degree because because he was so immensely talented, they let a lot of things slide. And what happens when things slide and the guy becomes really, really good? It's hard to correct him once he gets to a status that, like, what? Later for y'all. And I believe he will be better served with the Rams because they have more to offer. They have a better quarterback at this juncture. They have a better running back, better offensive line. Their defense, I believe, will be better, which will give the offense an opportunity to get the ball back, and Odell an opportunity to do what he does, which is catch the football, put the ball in the end zone. But you must understand, while you might be receiving an immensely talented guy, you must understand what he is, and is money ultimately going to make him happy? I don't believe it is. I don't. So just know what you're getting, and so when he starts acting up on your watch, don't be surprised. Well, I don't know where this came from. You know where it came from. Just know what you're getting.
So, if the Hollywood Rams land Odell Beckham Jr., which I believe they will, probably just before the night of the draft,
Okay.
I'm leaning toward picking them to win it all next year because I think they are going for broke. I think it's a team right on the verge, a team in need of Odell Beckham Jr. They lost Sammy Watkins, obviously, in free agency, and Odell is a better Sammy Watkins. And I believe the Rams are in the power position here because they can offer Odell three things nobody else can. They can offer Hollywood and obviously the west side of Los Angeles that he loves, so he will be happy here.
Correct.
He is a Hollywood kind of guy, and he spends much of his offseason here. They can offer what last year was the highest scoring offense in all of football, and they got a young quarterback and a young running back and a young possession receiver in Cooper Kupp.
Good offensive line.
And a pretty good offensive line and a 32-year-old head coach who thinks way outside the box. And Odell will love all of the above.
Yes.
And then finally, he's going to love a defense that is going for broke with Sue, Talib, Marcus Peters. They got firepower. They got issue players. They got all kinds of hard-to-coach players, and Odell would be
He's fit
maybe
right
the
in.
atom bomb right on top of all that. But the point is, I love what this team is doing because it's just saying the window's about that open right now. Before we have to pay anybody, let's just go for the throat.
Right.
And this is all on hair trigger to go right over the top into the Super Bowl if you can land Odell. And again, I think they could get him for just the 23rd overall pick. That's all I think, because he's a problem for anybody else because he's not going to want to go anywhere except here. He's already made it clear through Rams players. He wants to play in Hollywood for this team.
Well, once you've played in New York,
Yeah.
is there any other place
No,
that you can
no,
play other
this
than
would
LA?
be it.
Yeah,
Miami.
You make all those things are very viable points, and the whole chemistry aspect of putting a professional sports team together is incredibly important. And so this could be one of those things that does exactly what you say. Bam. Right to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
or just absolutely
it
implode
could
and be the
implode.
worst thing ever.
It could.
But here's the thing. When you talk about Sue on a one-year deal, on a one-year prove-it deal, I think Sue's 32 years old. He's already been paid as a first-rounder. He got the huge contract from Miami. He's getting a one-year, $14 million deal on a prove-it deal. He's in line to get one more big contract if he produces. So are you going to be on your best behavior? You know, are you going to be a guy that and I think the same thing could be said for Odell Beckham Jr., who's got, is still on that rookie contract deal. Like, if he came in there and say, hey, listen, we're going to pay you. Right now we're dealing with, we got to get Aaron Donald done. We got to get some other things done. So, you know what? Show us, the kind of player you're going to be here.
Yep.
So there are some things that are really, really intriguing about that.
There are
Again,
lots of ways to have Super Bowl chemistry.
Right.
You guys in Denver had solid veteran chemistry,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You had a Romanowski issue, but you handled it internally, and it was actually the flashpoint from which you rose, right?
Yep.
And this could be volatile chemistry, but sometimes it works. It'll kind of hang just together where it creates momentum. And you got a lot of bad actors here, but if they all sort of say, hey, we can do this, because they all have one common goal. Like Odell needs a ring to validate himself.
The thing is, with us, Skip, is that we didn't bring, I mean, when this team together in 97 and 98, we won the Super Bowls. We brought in small guys. We didn't bring in no big name guy, Stink, that had this big persona or anything. But we brought guys in, and our core leadership was already there. Myself and Stink and Rod and John, and then you had on the offensive side, you had Atwater and Crockett and Tyrone. So we had guys that were
that's mental toughness.
So it'd have been interesting if we would have brought a big name in there, because you remember in '99 we brought Dale Carter in. And
Yeah, it didn't really work.
Okay. Did you have draft picks who came in and shook it up? No,
because we picking late in the draft.
That's right.
We got Marcus Nash and I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember Stink.
Hey, you put Odell with the Hollywood Rams.
Yeah.
This will be the biggest story in pro football this year. It'll just be mushroom cloud of coverage. This will be the team to watch. This will be must see.
Again, if a veteran quarterback in Eli Manning, who had 2 world championships, can't handle him, how's your young quarterback in Jared Goff going to be able to handle him?
Maybe you'll relate to him more.
And maybe. And I'll tell you one thing. One of the most impressive people I talked to all last season, and far and away, and it wasn't close, was Sean McVay.
Really?
I'm telling you, like, I got done having a conversation in a game I called of the Rams with Sean McVay, and I thought to myself, you're a loser. You've done nothing with your life. I was like, that dude is impressive, man.
Yeah.
He is impressive.
What was it? Is it his grandfather was the San Francisco McVay, the GM? So he's got bloodlines to it.
The thing is that Odell plays a dependent position, and they feel they need to get 15 balls per game. Skip, we've seen Antonio Brown catch 10 balls, then the next game he catch 4, he blows up, and then Ben throws 5 interceptions trying to get him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unheard of to have a problem player move to another team and then be successul there. Sometimes you just need a change of environment.
And sometimes that problem player moves to another team and be a
There's
problem.
a problem there. Sometimes it also can be kind of humbling to have a franchise move on from you. They can't handle you. So
sometimes
you get motivated.
Sometimes you know what? A change is just exactly what
you need.
You need to get away from the people that keep dragging you into whatever it is they're dragging you into, and the decisions that you make. And sometimes it's just good to get away.
Yeah.
Well, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Choose wisely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Was that
Did your glasses come up
I
with
don't
that?
know who that is. Something. I'm just
Seriously,
thinking.
what personality were they going to bring into Denver anyway? They already had Big Play Shea.
You know.
Who's going to compete with that?
Tell a few jokes here, they'll keep blow Stink off the line. Me and Stink used to race and get off drills. Even though he lined up 3 yards offside.
About 7 yards outside.
Stink ran that locker room, right?
The linemen, they stick together. They eat together. They ran together.
A herd of cattle.
Yeah. Everybody, they walk out to the locker room together, walk out to the field together. They walk in together. They did everything together. But I kept them loose though.
No mercy.
The Cowboys have talked about making their offense more Dak-friendly this offseason. Now, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones is comparing Dak to 2 of the Cowboys' most famous quarterbacks ever, Tony Romo and Troy Aikman. Let's take a listen.
Well, I think he's the key. At the end of the day, he's a big part of it. And it all starts with him. He's the trigger guy. And, I think we can do some things to help him more. I think Dak's a guy that's a little different than Tony, probably more like Troy in terms of the passing game. He wants, precise routes. He wants to throw the ball, on time to areas. And whereas Tony would improvise a little more, not that Dak can't improvise, but I think Dak is a little more disciplined in terms of wanting the receivers to be good route runners and be where they're supposed to be, those type of things. And now, at the same time, does he need to work on being able to improvise a little more? Of course.
Shannon, do you like Stephen Jones saying this?
What are you laughing at? There's nothing funny about
Because
that.
your guy, no, I don't like that he said this. Skip, why is it that it always seems like in one breath they're praising him, but at the same time they're slapping him in his mouth?
I don't know.
Skip, why do they do that?
I didn't get that.
Hold on, first of all, shouldn't you want him to be more like Troy Aikman? Troy Aikman just did win you 3 Super Bowls.
Well, he is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he what quarterback does not want his receivers to run crisp routes? I go 5, I want the ball to come out. I want the receiver to be where it's supposed to be. If I go 5 in a hitch, I go 1, 2, 3, whatever the case may be. But in the same breath, he's taking a shot at Dez Bryant, too. You notice that, Skip?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Oh, Tony,
Yeah.
Skip. Now, you say one of the best plays that Dak Prescott made this year is when the play broke down, he rolled out of the pocket and threw the ball down the field to Bryce Butler. We just saw it in the video.
We just saw the
That was improvised. Now, Tom Brady is not the greatest improviser. He throws from the pocket. Okay,
I'm not sure he ever really improvised.
But there have been times, but if Tom Brady needs to get out the pocket or to buy time, he can do that.
Got pretty good pocket feet, yeah.
But Skip, you don't win championships by improvising. I mean, maybe the greatest improviser, maybe Brett Favre, okay, but
I think Cam could.
Yeah, but you're not gonna make a living.
No.
You're gonna have to learn how to throw the ball from the pocket. But it seems to me is that they're always giving Dak these backhanded compliments. We need to make the offense more Dak friendly. We, he needs to learn how to improvise better. Wait a minute. They cannot get over, Skip. They are still upset that they lost to Green Bay at home. They still want Tony Romo as their quarterback. Steven and Jerry
Jones.
So?
I don't think Steven does. Jerry might.
Why would you even mention Tony Romo? Tony Romo's never won nothing. He's never gotten you past the divisional. And you mention him in the same breath as Troy Aikman? I'm sure there's a lot of fans, these millennials, they love Tony Romo. But Tony Romo will never be revered like Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman.
Agreed.
Because they won those Lombardis. And for Jerry Jones to heap so much praise on Tony, box office.
By the way, Roger Staubach in his early years, he could really improvise.
Yes.
He was Roger the Dodger. He could run, but go ahead.
Captain Comeback and all. But Skip, what is it about? You do realize Dak is only going into his 3rd year, and you want him to be polished like a Troy. I don't get that. Why you just can't let him be and say he's growing? It's whatever Dak does is not good enough. I don't care. Jerry wants Tony Romo. I guess because Dak is just button up. He has no splash. There's no pizzazz. What you see is what you get.
That is true.
Let me do my job.
Yep.
I'm going home.
Yep.
Where, Tony Romo's all over the field. He's pumping the ball one way and he's doing all. That's not who this kid is. Most quarterbacks will tell you, when I take that 5th step, if you're supposed to be 12, I need you at 12. If I take that 5th step in a hitch and you're supposed to be 42 and 4, 42 yards deep, 4 yards from the sideline, that's where I need you to be. I'm sorry. I don't want to run a route, Skip. And I've played with some guys that I run a route and I'm looking for the quarterback thinking he's in the pocket and I don't know where he is. That's no fun.
No fun.
So, Steven, I know you think that might be fun and that's pizzazz, but that's not going to win you a championship.
It is box office. Romo was huge box office.
Yeah.
Because you never knew when he would self-destruct. Because he would. You just had to wait for it.
You remember that, your favorite improvisational game?
505?
Yeah, 5 TDs. And what did he do, Skip?
When you least expected, or actually when you should have expected it, they get the ball back with a chance to go score, and he throws it to the Denver Broncos, to Trevathan. Right away. Boom, right to Trevathan. And you're like, it's almost like he was the primary receiver on the play. Great. And Peyton Manning and company get a little walk-off chip shot field goal, and it's what, 52 to 49?
51-48.
51-48. Way to go, Tony. That's the essence of Tony Romo. That's the classic Tony Romo game. So, obviously, I covered those Troy Aikman years. Let me tell you, the greatest thing about Troy Aikman was he was a raging perfectionist. To your point, be there. Be there. We're going to practice this till you get it on the step, on the inch. You got to hit it there and be there because the ball's going to be there. And he was deadly accurate, as you know. And if you let Troy get his planets aligned around him, he was robo quarterback. He would pick you to pieces.
Yep.
But he was never a big sensational stats guy because they were a running football team.
That is correct.
So the most touchdown passes Troy ever threw in a year were 23 in 1992, that breakout season in which they went and won a Super Bowl. People thought they were about a year away from being able to win.
Right.
When they went and got Charles Haley right before the season started. 23 touchdowns. Well, Peyton came along and threw 55 touchdowns, which is the record. And once upon a time, Brady, throwing to Randy Moss, threw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
55, 50, and Troy's most was 23. But he's in the Hall of Fame because he's got rings. Right?
Yep.
And he had a running game. He had, well, arguably, he had the greatest running back ever when it comes to stats, the most yards ever.
Most rush touchdowns.
And to me, that offensive line, I'm just not sure there's a better one ever than that offensive line.
agree with you.
And to me, I've made the case before on this show. What do I say about Michael Irvin? He's my all-time best receiver and the best clutch receiver ever. And you want to talk about rapport? You want to talk about Romo Dez rapport at an even higher level, at a more precise level? Because Romo to Dez was just jump ball throwing.
Exactly.
Oh, I'll just throw it up.
You look at what the Cowboys were known for was that what they call a bang eight or a skinny post.
Yep.
Troy Aikman, when that fifth step hit,
Lethal.
Michael knew he had to cross the corner's face, and it was there. When he threw that 5 and rolled it in the 12, the square out, Michael knew.
And
I got to
Michael
hit Kim.
might give you a
Yeah,
little
he push
push.
you down.
Just a little
Yeah.
push here or there, but that's okay.
But Troy,
Separation.
he knew.
Yep.
Troy was all rhythm. You watch Troy in Noah Turner's system. It's 1, 2, 3. The ball's gone.
And by the way, Troy for a while had a wide receiver of a tight end named Jaden Ovechek who could flat out fly.
Yep.
He was
so shifty and subtle with it. And Alvin Harper, he only ran a few routes, but when they threw the skinny, when they threw the post, it was there. Because the play when that broke San Francisco, he hit
when they broke through in '92 in the NFC Championship game
him on the
at
backside.
Candlestick. Boom to Alvin Harper.
Hit him on the backside.
Won the game, sent him to the Super Bowl that they won handily. So Troy Aikman was, again, all Stephen was saying was that Dak is more like Troy. I hope he turns out to be Troy Aikman.
Right.
That'd be something.
Right.
Because that would mean you're in the Hall of Fame.
He has improvisational skills.
He does.
You hope you don't, but you don't call plays hoping your quarterback has to improvise.
Just remember, Troy Aikman was a huge man. He was 6'4". I don't know what he ended up weighing, 245 or 50, but he was just big-boned, raw-boned, stood strong in the pocket. But he could see.
Right.
Dak is 6'2", so he's 2 inches shorter. But Troy had no escapability. He just didn't even try. He didn't do that.
Right.
There's not quickness or speed. He could move a little bit in the pocket. But to your point, it better come out on rhythm. Because if it comes out on rhythm, one year he led the league with 69% completions because that was robo quarterback.
Exactly.
I'm with Steven that you've got to get Dak to improvise a little bit more because he's a big man who can also move. I'm not saying he's Michael Vick, but he can move a little bit.
Yeah, he can move.
So I want to see a little more read option with Zeke, just a little more here and there, just to keep people honest. A little more rollout because he seems at least as comfortable rolling out, naked bootleg, whatever you want to do, as he is standing in the pocket.
He's only in his 3rd year.
Okay, thank you.
You need to tell Stephen Jones that.
Oh, I need to tell you that half the time
Whoa,
on the show.
But Skip. But even freshmen and sophomores in college, they get failing grades. So I just want you to know that.
Effed him.
Oh, are you going soft on Dak
Yeah.
now?
No.
Professor Sharpe gave Dak Prescott an F
Yeah. I don't.
for a season in which he had the 4th best QBR in all of football.
Skip, you don't
How
listen
do
to that
figure
participation. You don't get no good grades just for coming to class. I need to see some work. Need some
Okay.
time to work. No
Well,
punctuation. No
okay.
misspellings and
I
punctuation.
just went over Troy Aikman's supporting cast. Now let's look at what Dak had last year. No Zeke for 6 games. And Des Bryant was just a disaster, a shell of himself. The offensive line didn't live up. And help me out, did they have any receiver who could separate anywhere? Anybody? Was Jason Witten and Jay Novacek? I don't think so.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You keep talking about you want Dez to improvise. What about you get some routes of receivers that run crisp routes?
I would
How about that?
love that.
He ain't mentioned, but he took a shot. He like Troy liked this guys to run crisp routes, and Dak likes the same thing. He was said, we ain't got no receiver run no crisp routes.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure Alan Hearns and Deontay Thompson are those guys. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I don't know why they keep talking about Dak like Dak good player, man. Dak good people.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's good people because he won you over on the airplane.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
now,
really
Wentz-
what it is. He gave him an F for the year last year. But
Wentz, now he real. That dude real. He fine.
man,
Real.
you
Yeah,
want to
he
get
fire.
Shannon on your side?
Huh. How did
Go
Wentz
up.
do in his rookie year? How was that?
No, he had a little setback.
They make the
But
playoffs?
guess what? You know what they did, Skip?
What?
They went and got him some
They
weapons.
got him some help. They did.
Did Dak call you Unc?
Nah. Me and Dak, we were just talking about, play calls and stuff like that in the game. And I
You
told him
giving
how
him a little advice?
Yeah, tell him how it's going to play out.
Did you tell him? Did you tell him it's all about Pennsylvania?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No, you did not.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.